Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is not so bright and freaking early. It's 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. All right, let me fill you in as to why I'm a little late. This probably won't get downloaded until about 6 or 7. Uh, Initially, I wasn't going to download a video first thing this morning. I was going to wait. And the reason of that is I did 2 or 3 videos yesterday, and the last one I did, which was downloaded by about 6 o'clock last night, is still getting views. It's got a potential. I'm proud of it. It's a good video. It's about being a deal breaker, dating another Trump supporter, and it's a totally true story. I was really psyched to make it when I got when the story came together in my head, and I think it's got potential. It's got more likes than usual, so I wanted to let it play out. There was nothing in the news that grabbed my attention this morning, so I was going to wait till this afternoon. And I have a hard time doing that because I know there's a small bunch of people that wait to see my videos come out in the morning to have with their tea or their coffee. They've told me that, and I feel like I'm letting those people down, even though it's just a small fraction of my viewers. Anyway, I saw a story, and it kept popping up. I've been on the internet. I watch TV. I started reading today's newspaper already, and this story, it keeps popping up. It's trending like a 500,000 views on my trending lists, and I didn't think much of it. Let me tell you about it. A Twitch streamer and YouTuber, I hope I say his name right, Kyle Cenat. Now this guy is really popular. I think he's 21 years old and from New York City. And I was reading, I think he's done I think it was a 30-day uninterrupted live stream on Twitch. I don't know if this is gaming or what, but he was on a live stream for 30 straight days. I don't know if I was reading that right. I'm a 57-year-old dude, man. I'm a little out of touch with what's going on, and that's the way I looked at this story. But there's a little more to the story. So there was supposed to be an event with him organizing an event in New York City, and there was supposed to be a giveaway of PlayStations and the gaming chairs, all the rigs and everything for gaming. They're supposed to give them away, and there's supposed to be a big event for younger people. And it turned out to be it was a big situation with fireworks and people running in all different directions. And Kyle Cenat ended up being held in custody for unlawful gathering, and I think there was a few other charges. It doesn't seem too serious this morning, but I looked at this story, and as an old man, I couldn't relate to it at first. I looked at it and I was like, those kids of today, why would they, what I really thought was like, do these kids really think there's going to be like 100,000 people there, 200,000 people? Do they really think they're going to get something free like a PlayStation or a gaming chair, or I was like, that's ridiculous. And they put themselves in danger. Why? And I look at it, and I'm thinking like a 57-year-old man. And then it hit me. I remembered back to when I was 14 years old. We didn't have the internet, but we did have concerts, and we did have dangerous concerts. And I started to think about how I thought the exact, I couldn't remember being this young. Let me remind you. 1979, December 3rd, Riverfront Stadium. The Who was playing. All right, and they had this thing called event seating, festival seating is what it was called, and it was basically first come first serve. You'd have like 15,000, 20,000 fans, just. For those of you if there's any younger people watching this, the Who was kind of like, I don't know, the Taylor Swift of our day, or Post Malone. I don't know what to compare it to. And as soon as they'd open the doors, festival seating, it'd just be a mad rush to get close to the stage as possible. It was a free for all. Whoever could get to the seats the fastest got the best seats. And at Riverfront Stadium, 11 people died at that show. Also, I tried to look this up this morning because I remember this specifically. There was a Molly Hatchet concert. I know if you're young, you probably don't even know who Molly Hatchet is. And back then, there started to be a trend around 1979, 1980, 1981 of throwing M80s into, like, when you were at a civic center or a coliseum inside with the roof and everything. There'd be people that would go all the way up to the top row, the nosebleed seats, and light a M80 or quarter stick and throw it and hopefully it would go off in the air and everybody would be like, wow, and it'd reverberate like boom, and it felt like the whole Coliseum. This was before the show usually when the lights are on, and you'd see this like smoke cloud, like an artillery burst in the air, and that's what it felt like. It felt like you were in the middle of a freaking, like World War I trench fighting or something, and that became popular. And I remember at Molly Hatchet's show, I tried to look it up this morning and I couldn't find the news story about that happening, that somebody got hurt, where the M80 actually came down into the crowd, and I started thinking about this gathering. They weren't giving stuff away, but we were going to see a show, the festival seating, trying to get there first, trying to get the best seats. I started thinking about the similarities to, and I remembered my first concert, 1979, News of the World Tour. It was actually, the Game had just come out. And Queen went from a super band to almost a pop band with the Game. So they were huge, and the show sold out. And this was my first concert ever. And I remember that excited feeling. That I just remembered that this morning. I was 14 years old. I was a little dude, not little, I was a tall, thin, geeky dude. And these are all, 20, 30-year-old people. I'd never smoked pot. I'd never done anything. I was still cherry back then. And me and my buddy went. And we were way up in the nosebleed seats. And I remember we were scared, man. We were sitting there before the lights went out. And I remember actually saying to him, we wanted to go and be part of this crowd. And I remembered that this morning when I read this article. This morning I felt so out of touch when I read the story about Kyle Cenat. Why would these kids do this? Why would they go into this big, dangerous group of kids and, for stuff they're never going to win? And then I remembered me at 14 years old going into this dangerous situation to see the band. There was no internet, there was no giveaways, but there's a lot of similarities. And right before the show started, somebody tossed an M80, and me and my friend almost crapped our pants. There was two older girls sitting next to us. We're two 14-year-old kids, and the girls were probably about 19 or 20, gorgeous. Two girls sitting next to each other, halter tops. It was August 20th, 1980. August 20th, 1980. And they lit up a joint. And me and my friend just look at each other like we're panicking. Like, what if they pass it to us? What are we going to do? And like I said, I was still cherry back then. And when that M80 went off, me and my friend started panicking. And we're like, okay, if people start running, we actually said this. It's like, we'll go up top. We'll go all the way to the top nosebleed row, and we'll stay up there and stay safe until everything gets sorted out. And I remember that thrill of being the first time I was ever part of that huge crowd, like 15,000 people, packed, full, sold out house, M80s going off, the whole place filled with a haze of pot smoke. And, me being one of the youngest kids in there, that thrill of being that part of the crowd, like in Queen when they played Bohemian Rhapsody. They had the whole lighting, one of the biggest lighting setups ever. And the whole stage was a wall of lights. And when he came back on the stage, the wall of lights just moved up. And it shone into the crowd, and I just remember seeing, the whole 15,000 people on their feet, and the hands lit up, and it was just, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. It was dangerous, but it was so exhilarating as a 14-year-old kid, and you can see the look on my face now as I'm remembering that. So, like I said, when I first read this article about Kyle Cenat this morning, the YouTuber, the Twitch streamer that I had never heard before this morning. And I looked at this story like, these kids are, these kids today, they're not like we weren't that stupid. We weren't that foolhardy back when I was a kid. Yeah, we were, yes, I felt the same exact way. I remember that feeling again this morning. And I think I can understand exactly why these kids showed up at this event in New York City, even though I wouldn't recommend it now. I'm older and wiser. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't checked out the video before about dating a Trump supporter, check it out. It's a good story, and it's totally true. All right, have a good Saturday.